Okay, everyone, welcome to our webinar. This is our Team Beachbody overview, our fitness business from home success webinar. My name is Ryan Chapman, and I want to welcome you. Thank you all for joining us today. I'm going to go over just what this Team Beachbody opportunity is all about and what it's done for us. And I have a special guest on the webinar tonight. I'm going to introduce her in just a few minutes. But before we do that, I just want to give you some background on myself, a little background on my team and what we're about. Like I said, my name is Ryan Chapman. I'm a seven-star diamond, two-time elite coach with Team Beachbody. And I've had an amazing ride with Team Beachbody, and I'm so excited about the opportunity. I was talking with Taylor about it earlier tonight, just talking about prepping for this call and getting ready to tell our stories. And we almost couldn't stop each other, so we were like, she's talking and I'm like, yes, exactly, and then I'm talking and then she's like, oh yeah, and we just have this passion for this business because of what it's done for us. For me, it was a matter of growing up as wanting to be an engineer from the time I was like, I think 11 or 12. I got the bug in my ear about being an engineer. I wanted really to be a mechanic because I loved fixing things. And some mechanic friends of mine, I was working at a lawnmower shop, some mechanic friends of mine who were probably in their mid to late 30s and had been working at a lawnmower shop fixing lawnmowers for several years were like, don't be a mechanic. They were like, be an engineer, design the new ones, don't fix the old ones. And so I took their advice and I started taking math classes and everything, and I got my engineering degree, and I was like, oh, this is it. This is for me. I love this. I went to engineering school at Montana State University, which, despite popular belief, we do actually have cars in Montana and things like that, and a really good engineering program. It's not horse and buggy in Montana anymore. Montana State's actually one of the top probably 10 engineering schools in the nation. One of the reasons for that just being that it's such a cool place in Bozeman that they attract these really good professors that just want to live in the mountains. So it's really cool to see that. So I went through Montana State. I got my engineering degree. I got hired on at Puget Sound Naval Shipyard in Bremerton, Washington, where I met my wife. I moved my way up through the ranks in engineering through the GS levels. If anybody's familiar with GS levels, by the time I stopped being an engineer, I was a GS 13, several grades into GS 13 level. So I worked myself from a $45,000 to $50,000 starting salary up into $90,000+ and making overtime and things and making six-figure salary basically. I had 26 or 27 employees when I quit the engineering job. I was working my way up, working towards being a GS 15 or even an SES in the government, which is like 1-star, 2-star admiral level. On the non-civilian side. So I was on the civilian side in the Department of Defense. And I really didn't have any thoughts about doing anything else. I was just like, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to go as high as I can go in this business and in the government. And I was going along. My wife was doing the same thing. I met her there at the shipyard. She was an engineer as well. And then something changed for us. And that was in 2009. We were in Washington, D.C., but she's actually in Washington, D.C. right now as we speak, and I'm going to fly there tomorrow, but not as a government employee anymore. I'm just going to go traipse around Washington, D.C. with my kids and have fun while she works. But we were out there in 2009, and we were in a mentoring thing where we were going to get to talk to senior executive level people and things like that. And my wife was also pregnant with twin girls. And that was really the big thing that changed for me, is when we started leaving our twin girls at home with their grandma, which is much better than I think than, just dropping them off at a daycare. We were very blessed to have that family to be able to take care of the kids. But when we started leaving them at home and realizing that we had about half an hour with them when they woke up in the morning when they were about 1 year old, and then maybe an hour and a half before they went to bed after we got home from work. And so we were like maybe 2 hours with our kids on weekdays. It was like both of us was like, this is not cool. Like, this is not what we signed up for. We didn't realize that it was going to be like this. And we had an option. We had something that we could do. I had started P90X while the kids were young because I couldn't leave my wife at home with kids and go off on bike rides and runs like I was doing. I was a triathlete. I had lost 100 pounds and then became a triathlete. And then, so I picked up a copy of P90X. I got into P90X. I loved it. I became a coach. I was kind of doing it on the side, just kind of not really thinking it was much of a deal. And then we realized in 2011 that this could be a serious business opportunity. I was talking to my buddy who signed me up, and I was like, wow, I didn't realize you were making that much money. I didn't realize that this wasn't just some kind of little affiliate thing. I didn't realize that I could do this. And he was like, oh yeah, here's how to do it. And so I jumped in at the end of 2011, and by the beginning of 2012, we made the decision and I quit my engineering job. And I went full time, and between 2012 and really mid 2013, I turned it into a 6-figure income, and it's just been growing basically since then. And awesome people like Taylor have come onto the team, and I've made amazing friends. And now I walk my kids to school or drive them to school at 9 a.m. and I pick them up at 3 o'clock, and I get to make that decision. And I work a lot because I love to work and I love my job and I love the things that I get from it. But I work on my schedule. I work when I want to work. I work 8 to 10 p.m. if I want to hang out with my kids from 4 to 7 p.m. And I work 9 to 2 in between picking my kids up and taking them to school. And I don't work early in the morning when I wake up and have my kids. So it's not that I don't work. I work very hard to make a 6-figure income out of this and build myself a business, but I work it on my schedule. So that's kind of my story. I sometimes tell a much longer version of that story, as many people can attest to. But I really want to focus on, after I tell that short story about my journey, which has a lot more elements to it, I want to bring Taylor on. And so Taylor, I think you're muted right now, but can you unmute yourself and see if we can hear you?
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now. Excellent. Excellent. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Yeah, so.
I like to talk, so.
Yes, I know. I'm worried about, I told Taylor earlier today, I'm a little worried about being able to get any words in during this part of the call, but we'll do what we can. So, I mean, just to give us an idea of the background, you can give us a little background about yourself too, and how you grew up and whatnot. We don't want to make this too long, of course. We want to get into the details so people know your story with Beachbody, but definitely give us an idea of how you were introduced to Beachbody. Was it a friend or family, or did you get on a webinar like this, or what was it,
Well, I really started with Beachbody. The first time I ever heard of Beachbody was when my roommate in college was trying to convince me to do the Insanity program. And I was not about doing the Insanity program with her because that's a really intense program. And, I am from a really small town, farming community. I have 4 sisters. I was in a school of like 120 kids, Catholic school. And I did a lot of sports. So I was always very, very active. But when I went to college, I quit doing any sports. And so I knew I needed to be active, but to jump to an Insanity program and to work out at home, I had never done that before. I didn't really want to, but she convinced me to do it because I knew I needed to do something. And she was just like, if we do it together, it won't be so bad. So okay, I'll do it. So it was the first time I was ever really introduced to just Beachbody as a company and the workout programs.
Okay. All right. And so then how did you get into actually doing the coaching thing then?
The coaching part of it happened when I was living in Nebraska. I went to school in Nebraska to get my degree actually in criminology and criminal justice and psychology. And I was working at the police department. I had interned with them for about 3 years, and I was working as a secretary. And I was actually going through the application process to become a police officer. And one day it just didn't feel right. And so one day I went into my boss and I said, I'm going to have to put in my 2 weeks notice, and I'm going to stop applying for the police officer position, and I'm moving to Colorado. And so I moved to Colorado, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. I just knew that I needed to change. And so it was probably about like 6 weeks or so later, we moved. And I've always been kind of a person who is very driven and hardworking. And so I wanted something, but I just didn't know what I wanted. Mm-hmm. And so I had gotten into health and fitness. I had fallen in love with doing Insanity and P90X and things like that in kind of a roundabout way. But anyways, my sister convinced me to meet up with her friend, Sarah. And I didn't really want to, but I almost canceled on her. I was supposed to get coffee with her, and I was this close to canceling. And I finally just went, and she was the one who had presented the Beachbody coaching opportunity to me.
Okay. So what were the things about it when she presented to you? What were the things about it that made you say, oh, this is for me, and made you say, I'm going to go for it?
hmm Well, I guess a little bit more of a backstory on me. Growing up, I had pretty bad body image issues. In high school, I dated a guy actually who I remember. One thing I remember was reading a message from him. He was sending it to his friends, which were my friends as well. But he had said, "It doesn't matter if Taylor and I break up because she's fat anyways." And
Oh, ouch.
being like what 15, 16-year-old girl, those things, those aren't the easiest things in the world to hear. And I have four sisters, and if you ask me, I think I have four very beautiful sisters, and I've always been one of those people to compare myself to other people. So
Mm.
between that and him, it was just kind of a really bad combination. So when I got to college, my senior year, I had to change schools because we had a situation happen in high school with a teacher trying to have sexual relationships with one being my sister and a few of my really close friends. And I had turned him in, and we ended up really just kind of getting bullied out of town. So after that happened, I changed schools. I had 1 year left, my senior year. And I kind of started getting really bad social anxiety because, I went from being on the sports teams and being the captain of the volleyball team or whatever to really not having any friends. And so I think that it just kind of, it was a huge shock, when I was young, and I already had kind of a lack of confidence anyways. And so just that whole combination, then when I got to college, I gained a lot more weight, and it all kind of came at a head to me. So I started doing the insanity program, like I mentioned, but I didn't finish that program because I think all my insecurities came out, and I actually just kind of quit eating. It's what I used to do in high school when I would catch those messages from my boyfriend. I'd quit eating.
Mm.
And so I started doing that, and I'm 5'8", and I dropped to 113 pounds. So I
Wow.
was very underweight, and and that was kind of soon after that. My sister, she had a wedding, and it was my younger sister who kind of pushed me back to reality. She came up to me with her concerns about what was going on, and I just thought, wow, like she's my little sister. I look up to all three of my older sisters. Like they are just the best, people in the world. If I can't be a good influence on her, if I don't want her to do the things I'm doing, what am I doing with my life? And I
Mm-hmm.
told her, and I told my boyfriend that night that when I got back, I would get healthy, and I would do it not just for me, but for them. And so and that was one big reason I wanted to move out of Nebraska. I just needed a change, I needed a clean slate. And so my sisters were like, health and fitness, you love it now. Like that's really kind of your outlet. But I was worried to get into it just because I didn't have any formal education. And I was worried just because of my past with health and everything. I didn't know what it would do to me if I would, how I would really react to it. So meeting up with Sarah was kind of a big step for me to even consider doing anything in health and fitness, just with everything that I had kind of dealt with in my past. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Okay. So it sounds like you kind of saw it then after that as an opportunity to kind of share that story with people like you're doing now, where you could actually, because there's a lot of people out there who have similar stories. I actually know a couple of other very successful coaches who were afraid to get into the business because they don't have the weight loss story as much as they have like a underweight story too, or a eating disorder type issue, and they're afraid that people will look at them and say, well, I don't want to work with you because you don't have weight problems, and I need someone who, understands weight problems. And so, but you've got a great story to share with people, even, from that side of things. So let's switch gears a little bit to Summit, because right after you met with Sarah, right, she was like, you need to come to Summit, right? And you're like brand new coach. I don't even know, had you even signed up officially? I think you had just barely signed up.
I think I had just barely signed up, but I was pretty excited when I signed up. I didn't know what I was kind of signing up for, but I knew that I was excited about it. When she presented it to me, and she was talking about, I think the top reasons were, being your own boss and setting your own hours and just kind of really designing a life that you wanted to live. I had been sad for a long, long time. So the idea of just doing something that I could choose what I was doing and make me happy, like I jumped right on that. So when she said, you need to go to Summit. I was just like, where do I get my ticket?
Right. So Summit, just for those of you on the webinar who don't know what Summit is, because I know a lot of people on here, may not know what that is. Summit is like our national convention where all the coaches who are Team Beachbody coaches get together, and we usually launch new products there, and we have training on how to connect with people and how to spread, the Beachbody love, so to speak, around, and just be good coaches and be business people and be business owners. And it's just an amazing personal development, business development, and it just psychs you up. And so we're going to have that in Nashville this year in late July, mid-July, July 16 through 19, I think. And so Taylor was there last year as your first year, right? Mm-hmm. And absolutely came out of Summit on fire and ready to build a business. And you certainly started out doing that really well. What do you think were the things that helped you coming out of Summit? What were if you were to summarize really quickly in 2 to 3 minutes here for new coaches, what are the things that as a new coach then you said, that's why I'm going to go do this business, and you went off and took hold of?
Mm-hmm. I think it was just honestly all the people that were there that I got to listen to, and all the people that I was able to meet. Just, you have a lot of motivational speakers coming in and listening to their stories, and then not just the motivational speakers, but the coaches in Beachbody who have had that success. You just listen to them speak, and they throw out all these concepts and ideas that maybe you hadn't even really thought of before, but as you're sitting there listening to them, I just kept thinking, why not me? Why not me? Like, these people are telling me, I had just gotten out of criminal justice thinking I was going to be a police officer. So I very much remember hearing a story about a police officer who had just retired he had been an officer, I think, for like 19 years or something, close to retirement. And he quit his job to be a Beachbody coach, and how fulfilling it was for him and all those things. It was just so inspirational. Meeting people, there's not a lot of times that you get to meet people that you feel like are a lot like you, have the same beliefs and values, and to meet other people like that and be like, ooh, I'm not the only one out there, It was really, really just empowering. And at Summit, they talked a lot about the 3 vital behaviors, right? The 3 vital behaviors of our company. And I remember going on the plane ride back home and thinking, okay, what are these 3 vital behaviors that coaches are supposed to do all the time, right? Be the product and be healthy, and have your nutrition in line, and personal development was huge for me. And then it's just share it with others. Well, I thought to myself on the way home, because I didn't know if this was going to be like a career thing for me. I was just kind of trying this thing out, seeing where it was going to go. And I thought, those 3 things, would I really want to do those things for the rest of my life? And I was like, well, those are things that you just want to do for yourself. And this company says, do this for yourself, be a better person, grow yourself, and then go help other people do it. And I thought, well, absolutely, I want to do that. So I just think hearing all this success, all the motivation, and then really letting those 3 vital behaviors kind of ring true for me when I was at Summit, I just thought, I want to do this for the rest of my life. And I went from it being probably just kind of a hobby where I would make some extra money to saying, oh no, this is a real thing. I'm going for this thing. So
right. Well, and I think that's a good point. A good point to bring up here is that you see that there was I forget how many were at Summit last year, 9 or 10,000 people, 9 or 10,000 people, like all in the MGM Grand Garden Arena, all of them with this goal to help other people and to build themselves a business, right? And we have a very similar thing on our team.
Can you hear me? You're cutting out a little bit.
Are you guys still there? Are we there? Hello?
I was saying you were cutting out a little bit. Now you're back. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what I was saying is, we had 10,000 people there, and there's all these people who are, all building these businesses, and all are very much like you, but we have the same thing on our team in a smaller level, right? We have several hundred people who are all together who, like, if anybody that's listening to this call, if you join the team, you're going to join a team of people who have similar values to you, who have similar goals to you, and we're all rowing in the same direction towards helping other people, towards ending that trend of obesity, right? So let's see. I had a couple other questions for you. So you came out of Summit, right? And you were building this, thing, and then you felt like you had a bit of a lull a few months ago, and you were like, I'm not sure if this is right. What's going on? Why is this not working? And then you came out of that just recently and just blew to diamond and just like you're on fire again. Can you talk a little bit about that? And, I know personally that there's ups and downs in this business. And I think that that should be clear to everyone, that we should be clear with everyone that just like any other business, this is not an easy, get rich quick scheme where everybody's just like, oh yeah, you just sign up and money just starts flowing into your pocket and you're good to go. Like, you have to work for this. And there's times where you feel like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Right. So how did that go for you?
Well, and I think just like you said, I mean, business, it's going to have ups and downs. And I like to just compare it to your life. It's going to have the ups and downs too. And I think that when I was having that lull time in my business, I was definitely having that same time in my personal life. And I remember, now I had to think back on it a little bit when I knew you were going to ask me that question. And then I remembered I had a lot going on in my personal life. My uncle was diagnosed with brain cancer. My boyfriend's aunt was diagnosed with lung cancer, and his grandma was really sick. She had lung cancer as well. And so we had a lot of stuff going on with our families. And I had just set up, I was nannying at the time, and I just set up to nanny for 2 families for the next year. And a couple days later, they had said, okay, I'm actually going to be quitting my job and I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom, which was, excuse me, wonderful for her. But then I just kind of looked at myself. I was like, now what do I do? And so I think that, like I had said, personal development, one of the vital behaviors, I've had to really grow a lot in this business. So I quit doing that personal development. And all I was doing was focusing on the negative, right? Which is very common for us to do a lot. And then I started realizing, well, negative in my personal life was just transferring into the same thing into my business. Like, I wasn't coming into my business with the passion and the love and the optimism that I was before. I was feeling very pessimistic. So I feel like I was just giving that off to other people. And so it made me kind of realize, we had to go back to Nebraska to visit family, and I was driving back with my boyfriend, and I had a little breakdown. Sometimes I go back to Nebraska, that happens just because of all the stuff that happened back there. But I told my boyfriend, I said, I'm done with this. I am done feeling this anxious, depressed, sad Taylor. I said, when we get to Colorado, from here on out, I am only doing things that make me happy. And when I thought about what made me happy, this business made me happy. Knowing that I could go out there and share my story and help others, and hopefully in some way, whatever trouble they're going through, bridge that gap for them just a little bit, even just to help them a little bit. It's just such a fulfilling feeling. So I realized, get back to your personal development, start putting that good stuff in your mind so that you can go out there and be optimistic to everyone that you're working with. And I think that was a huge key to me starting to have more success. But then we also started that push for diamond training, which I'm a very organized, and I love to have a schedule. So I loved that they basically, a lot of times in this business, I feel like things come up just at the exact time that you need them. And that is exactly what this training was for me. So it pushed me back in the right direction.
That's awesome. And this webinar could be that thing for someone that's on this webinar, is that thing that comes up at that right time that says, hey, here's an opportunity for you. You should take this. And you took that diamond training and ran with it, and we're going to have another diamond training coming up that people can do the exact same thing with, even people who are just starting right now by signing up with whoever invited them to this webinar. We're running short on time, like I figured we would, because we both like to talk. But let's just give me a quick overview of what do you see for yourself in the next couple of years with Beachbody? What's your vision of what this business is going to do for you over the next couple of years? What are you going to work toward?
Well, like I said, I've everything that I want to do from now on in my life, I just want to be happy, and whatever makes me happy, that's what I want to do. So I do have big goals with this business. I do want to make this my full-time income, and I also want to go ahead and retire my boyfriend from his job. He works downtown Denver, and we want to live in the mountains, and he's not going to be commuting into downtown Denver when we're living, a few hours away in the mountains and getting off that mountain in the winter. So I really want to create this to be something where, we can both be at home. And if we do decide to have kids one day, just like you, Ryan, like I said, I nannied a lot. So I've seen a lot of different families and the stress they're under when they're working 50 hours a week and seeing their kids for an hour and having them come home some days with tears in their eyes saying, you get to play with them all day and I'm at work. And I think just with all those experiences, just knowing like I've got to create something, the life that I want to live. And that's basically what I want to do with this business, create it to be a six-figure income so I can do the things that make me happy and be at home and be with my family while I'm doing it. But the other thing is I really, really, really just want to help somebody else get to this place. I've never been more happy in my life doing what I do now. And so if in my business I can find one other person and help them get to this place that I feel now, that's going to be a big success for me.
Oh, man, that is one of the things I love about this business. Is just seeing someone like you, who I've been working with for the last, 6 months, having weekly calls, talking about how to share with people, talking about stuff, and to see you excited is awesome. And we get to transfer that down. So you get to do that with people now, and they get to do that with people, and they get to do that with people. And we can spread this thing, and share the positive, healthy lifestyle that we're trying to spread. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. So I think we're gonna transition the call a little bit now. I'm so glad that you were able to come onto the call with us, Taylor. It's been awesome to just kind of talk through your story with you. And if you go ahead and go back on mute, I'm going to share my screen, everybody, and we're going to go through just a little quick presentation so you understand a little bit more of the details of Team Beachbody so that you can make your decision. You've heard the stories, you've heard my story, you've heard Taylor's story. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here with you, hopefully. Let's see if that works. Taylor, can you give me a thumbs up that you can see that? Okay, excellent. The webinar's already began, so let's see if I can then change. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'll just run through a quick presentation with you. I'll try to make this as non-boring as possible. I am an engineer though, so just take that into account as we go through this, because engineers love slideshows, and I might, who knows, maybe I'll bring up some spreadsheets and things with numbers on them. I don't know, but we're going to try to make this as non-boring as possible. So what I usually talk about at the beginning is just to put in your mind, let you know that what we have here is, which you can probably see from Taylor's story and from my story, is that we have what's called a cause marketing opportunity. And what that means is, like, if you think about a charity that has a cause, it's trying to solve a huge social problem, some type of social problem. There's no water in this place, so we have this charity working to give water to people in a place where there's no water. There's some of that going on even in our country right now, but usually you think of that like Africa or something like that. They need to dig a well, or they need some water source or something. Okay, that's a nonprofit opportunity or cause opportunity. What we have is a cause marketing opportunity, which means that we have a for-profit business. We actually make our income from this, but it also solves a huge social problem, which is awesome. There are other businesses out there that do the same thing, but a lot of people's jobs or businesses don't have anything to do with solving a huge social problem. They're luxuries or things, that just something that people want to buy or something like that. And I love that part of it. It may not resonate with you, but and that's okay. But I love the fact that we're solving a huge social problem, and we're having really breakthrough success with it. It's amazing what Team Beachbody is doing. Last year, we told you we had 10,000 people in Vegas. We're going to have 25,000 in Nashville this year, which is incredible to see. More than double, basically 150% increase in, or is that? Anyway, a lot of increase in the number of people coming and helping us with this. But we still need help to actually meet the demand of the number of people that need our help just in this country alone, and we haven't even gone international yet. That's one thing I usually stop here, because I don't think people even realize that the opportunity to help people here is so huge in this country, but we haven't even gone international. There's 350 million people in the US that need help with this, and we haven't even gone international, which is a whole, how many times that many people. Okay, so we need the help. There's no market saturation here. You probably already know the huge social problem. It's obesity, or, in the US, 2/3 of adults, a fifth of kids are overweight. So there's, like I said, again, there's no market saturation here. You walk down the street, and 7 out of 10 people, are going to need what you have in some way. Even if they're not obese, we have things for people who just want to live a healthy lifestyle. It's literally 7, 8, 9, maybe 9 out of 10 people that could benefit from the things that we do. And I'm not even kidding about that. Like, there's just so many people around that need it. This is the obesity trends among US adults from 2010. The darkest red states, there's 13 states on there that have greater than or equal to 30% of their population has a BMI greater than or equal to 30, which means that they're basically obese by BMI standards. Okay, so greater than 30% of the population of 13 states back in 2010, and I think it's worse now. Okay, but we're ending the trends. We have thousands of success stories each week. These two are actually on our team. One of them is me. One of them is our buddy Anthony Graham, who won $500 for his T25 transformation that you can see there. These are real people who are actually having success stories each week, and it's amazing. In fact, I just saw the $100,000 winner voting video that's going on right now, which has like 6 people on it who have lost over 150 pounds with Beachbody products and are set up to win $100,000. 2 of them will win $100,000 at our Nashville convention in July. So the company is Beachbody. It's our portion of it. The coach network is Team Beachbody. But Beachbody was founded in 1998 by Carl Deichler and John Congdon with the mission to help people achieve their goals and enjoy a healthy, fulfilling life. The way they were doing that was with infomercials. You've probably seen some of them. They were 100% infomercials back in the day. They had things like Power 90 and Slim in 6 on TV, Turbo Jam, things like that. There was no coach network in 1998. There wasn't this opportunity. We could not have had this webinar in 1998. Of course, I don't know if they had webinars even available and on the internet in 1998, but we could not have talked about this opportunity in 1998. It was just all infomercials. What they found from the infomercials is that they could sell an exercise program and they could sell nutrition products, but what they couldn't provide was personal support. And the way they found this out was that they did a survey of the people that bought P90X back in 2004, 2005, 2006, and out of that sample, 55% of the people who bought P90X had not opened the box. 55%. So they found that they were doing a heck of a job selling workout programs. In fact, P90X flew off the shelves. It was like the first time anybody had ever said, hey, we can, we're not going to tell you it's 3 days a week, 30 minutes a day, and you'll have abs like this. We're going to tell you that it's 6 days a week and you're going to get your butt kicked. And people were like, oh, I must have that. And they're just selling these things like crazy. But if they're not opening the box, then they can't get the results. And they said, so how do we provide those results for those people? How do we help them get those results? The first thing they did is they created some forums online. They had some people who had results come on and be coaches on there and help people. And they started growing a community of people who are working together. And from that is how they created Team Beachbody, which is our coach network. It was founded in 2007, and it started with about 40 people who were on those forums who were helping other people for free. They brought them out and they said, we're going to give you the opportunity to be the first coaches in this network marketing company called Team Beachbody. And basically, you're going to be the support piece that was missing. We got the good nutrition products. We got the good fitness products. It all works. You don't need to create your own workout program. You don't need to create your own nutrition program. All you need to do is be the support piece that helps people open the box and put the DVD in and feel like they're a part of a community, actually be a part of the community. And so that's how Team Beachbody was created. And I love that story because it really is, they created it because they wanted to get their people more results, not because they needed more sales. The sales were fine. They were probably living on the beach in California just fine on P90X sales, but that wasn't the mission of the company. The mission of the company was not being fulfilled the way they wanted to. And this was a way that they could fulfill that mission, and it has happened and is continuing to happen. So what you get from that as a new coach is that you get all of the marketing and everything that they did to make their brands so well known. Everybody already knows the brands that we have. People, when you start talking about P90X or Insanity, you have to be living under a rock to not know what those things are, pretty much. I rarely find someone who doesn't know what P90X or Insanity is. And then we also have Shakeology. So we've got the fitness programs. We've got all that. We've got the nutrition in Shakeology, which is the best meal replacement shake on the market that I've ever seen. I've never seen anything cleaner, that doesn't have junk in it, that doesn't have chemicals in it, that doesn't have a bunch of sugar in it, that doesn't have a whole bunch of junk in it. It's just good stuff. Like, we talk about clean ingredients, and this is a clean shake that actually helps people. It can actually replace a multivitamin, even with all the stuff that it has in it. So we've got the fitness, we've got the workout programs, we've got the nutrition with Shakeology. On this team, we even have something called 90-10 nutrition, which is a way of learning how to eat clean besides Shakeology. So all the other food that you eat besides probably taking Shakeology, you learn how to eat clean in a really awesome, easy to use way. And so we utilize that on our team, and no other team out there has this program. It's just something that we have here on our team that helps us teach people how to eat right. And it adds so much value to people's lives. I mean, most of the people that you would see on this webinar are the coaches that have invited have come through 90-10 nutrition or have used 90-10 nutrition and swear by it. And so we have that on our team as well. And I can explain a little bit more about what that is if somebody wants to know. But just know that it's an amazing program that you can use to add value to people, which is how you can help them the best. So they got the nutrition with 90-10 nutrition with Shakeology. We've got the fitness with the workout programs. You are the support piece. And you can see that from what Taylor's talking about, from what I'm talking about. We're out there helping people actually use the nutrition and the fitness to get the actual results. We are the missing piece between good products and good results. You can have good products, but you can't get the good results unless you've got that support piece that helps you keep going, okay? So what do coaches do? Well, they provide that support. They help Beachbody customers meet their goals. We run challenge groups where people can become a part of our community. They can share things with each other. They can keep each other accountable. We share the products with people that we care about, and we let them decide. I think that's the biggest thing. I hope that you guys are getting that feeling from this webinar, that what we're trying to do here is educate you on what we do, show you why we love it, and then let you decide whether you want to join us or not. This is not about coercing you into doing something that you don't want to do. We only really want people here that want to do what we do and want to be a part of the community that we are a part of. We just want to show you what that community is all about. Okay, so that's what you're going to do as a coach. You're not going to spam people. You're not going to force things down people's throats. You're going to say, hey, I'm doing this thing. It's amazing. I love it. It's working for me. I'd love to have you come check it out. That's all you're going to do with people, okay? You're also going to have fun and create lasting relationships, like me getting to work with Taylor and Taylor becoming a friend. Taylor has met one of her best friends through Beachbody, who they've actually flown across the country to hang out with each other, and she met her at Summit when she first came to Summit. Okay, that's Chelsea. I don't know if Chelsea's on this call, but I would assume that she probably is if she could at all possible. You'll also get to earn income, right? And Taylor's earning some income. I'm earning a full-time income now with this. And the cool thing is that because this, obesity trend is where it is, the timing is with us. Like, we need people to actually go do this stuff so that we can turn that obesity trend around. We also have the #1 selling products like I talked about. We have the big brands. And then we also have additional tools on our team that relate to people that you know. So it's the perfect time for it. There is no better time to get into Team Beachbody than right now. We are just starting. We're like a baby company, really, that has so much more to do. And you could be a big part of that so much more that we have. Maybe a few details here before we wrap up. We're almost done with this webinar, and I'm going to let you guys ask some questions on the Q&A part of your webinar tool there that you're watching this on. But just understand there's a 30-day guarantee on the products and the coach opportunity, which means if you join us today or at any point, if you join us, you are going to have a 30-day guarantee. So if you decide after 29 days that you don't like this and you don't think coaching is for you, or you think the products suck, I highly doubt that you will, but if you did, you can send them back and get all of your money back, and that's it. Okay. There's also no front-loaded startup packages. Maybe you've heard of these with some companies where you have to buy $5,000 worth of product to stick in your garage to start retailing to people. And then if you don't sell it, well, you're stuck with $5,000 worth of product. We don't have that. Basically, what you're going to sign up with is a challenge pack, which is a workout program that you will probably use yourself, and a bag of Shakeology that you will drink yourself. And that's it. That's all you need to buy in order to get started with Team Beachbody, which means it's only the product that you consume. Everyone's going to be buying the stuff off of your website, and it's going to get shipped directly to them, okay? None of it is going to be stuck in your garage waiting for you to deliver it to people. There's a $15.95 per month coach fee, which covers your website and marketing materials. I don't know where else you can start a business that has 6 to 7 figure income potential for $15.95 a month. You probably have to put up 60 grand just to get a retail location and whatnot to come anywhere close to that kind of earning potential. So it's amazing that it's $15.95 per month. There's no long-term contract. You can cancel anytime. Essentially unlimited earning potential. We have full training on our team that will show you exactly how we do what we do. You don't need to be in perfect shape to do it, because a lot of people relate much better to someone who says, hey, do this with me, not let me show you how because I'm a hard body in perfect shape that's going to show you exactly what to do. It's do this with me. Remember, you're the support piece. You're not a trainer. You're not a one-on-one personal trainer that comes up with stuff because you're the one who knows everything about nutrition and fitness. You are the support piece. There's no sales training or experience required. We will show you what we do on our team to be successful, okay? This is just an example income. This is my income over the years that I have been a coach, from 2010 all the way to 2015. 2011, near the end, is where I started taking it seriously and dove in. You can see what happened. It has just gone up, 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 up. I didn't put actual amounts on here just because I didn't want to put actual amounts on here and say exactly what my income is, because I find that tacky. But I will tell you that it is a 6-figure income. Okay, so that those numbers there, it is 6 figures per year, a pretty healthy 6-figure income. Okay, so that's just an example of what's possible. There's people I know that are making a lot more than I am in this business too, who've either been doing it longer or who are just amazing. Okay, let's see. So usually have people ask yourself this at the end of this webinar. How much money or what result would you need to make doing this part-time to make it worth it? Just, you can put that in terms of money per week, money per month. What do you need to make in order to make this worth it? And how many hours are you willing to put in to make that happen? And maybe on the same increment. So if you say, I need to make $100 a week, I'm willing to put in an hour a day to make that happen. Think about what those numbers are. And then how many months are you willing to work to start seeing that result? In other words, if you put in an hour a day for the first week, you're not necessarily going to make that much money that you had down in that first question right on the first week, because you have to build a little bit. So how long before you start seeing that result seems reasonable to you? Write that number down. And then ask yourself this: if I could show you how to do that, would you be ready to get started right now? Ask yourself, would I be ready to get started if these numbers were possible? And we can talk about that in the Q&A. Put some numbers there for me. I'll tell you whether I think those are possible or not based on my experience, okay? Next question, ask yourself, if you've got those numbers written down, if you've got some goals in mind, if you're thinking, this is what I would really like to do, this is how I would really like to live, I'd like to be able to travel more, I'd like more time freedom, I'd like to be able to walk my kids to school. Ask yourself, is what you're doing now going to get you there? Because if it's not going to get you there, you're going to have to do something different in order to get there. It may not be this opportunity. This may not be the one that's going to get you there. But you're going to have to do something different in order to get there, or you're just not going to get there. And many of you I know are not ready to say, well, I'm just not going to ever be able to have that. And I don't think you should say that. If there's something that you want, if you want to be able to walk your kids to school, then you can start doing something right now part-time in order to get you there. That's what I started doing, and I was able to get there. And that's what Taylor's doing, and she's going to get to where she wants to go to, okay? Now, I just want to tell you one last thing. This is the very end of the webinar. We have a special opportunity on Saturday night. We haven't done this with any of our other webinars, but I'm going to do it tonight, and I probably will in the future on other webinars too. But we are going to have an exclusive getting started call to launch your business right on Saturday night. I haven't come up with the exact time yet, but on Saturday night, we will have a launch call where we will get on a Zoom call that you can ask all the questions you need, and we're going to go through some training on exactly how to start your new business off right. And it's only available to those who sign up tonight or between now, basically between now when the webinar ends and when the call happens on Saturday night. So here's what you need to do. You need to get with the person who invited you to this webinar. If you don't know who that is, if you just came on through my like page, through Ryan Chapman Ironhead Dad, or one of those pages, then you can email Ryan, R-Y-A-N, at tribasetraining.com, TRIBASE training.com. Or you can tell me in the Q&A in just a second here, and we will help get you set up with the person who should be your coach. But if you know who that is, get with that person tonight and say, hey, I want to get started right now. And they will get you a link to get your challenge pack, to get you signed up as a coach, get you all in the door, and they will let me know that you need a link to our Getting Started call on Saturday night. And then you will get on that call and get your business launched right. So if that's you, unless you have some questions, you can go ahead and send that message right now. Just go talk to your coach and say, hey, I'm ready to get started. I think this is the right thing for me. If not, I'm going to go ahead and stop this share right now so that we get back over here. And there is a Q&A button there where you can ask some questions. Okay, so go ahead and hit the Q&A button. And if you have questions, go ahead and start asking those questions. So we don't have a question, but a statement. Someone says, I can't wait to meet Taylor in July. She's going to be rooming with Crystal and I at Summit. And I am so ready to listen and learn further from her story of success. That's from Melinda. That's awesome. Taylor says hello. Okay, so one question asked, what sort of training do we get once we start? So I'm going to go ahead and answer that live here. What sort of training do you get once you start? So first of all, once you start, you're going to get on that Q&A or that live training call on Saturday night that you can have with me, and I'll have at least one other Diamond coach on there as my plan. Maybe Taylor if she's available on Saturday night to help me train a little bit. We'll see who gets on there. Maybe Mr. Nate, maybe Lisa. We've got several coaches who are well qualified to get on that call and train. We also have a 30-day email training list where you get an email every single day that gives you training on how to start. And we also have many call processes where people can get on and listen to all the right mindsets and all that kind of stuff. Beachbody also has training in their Coach Online office that you will get access to as soon as you become a coach, that tells you exactly how to get to Emerald level and move up to Diamond level and all the right things for sharing. We've got all the training pretty much that you need to do what you need to do. Now, it still means that you got to do the work, but the training is all there to show you how to do the work. Hope that answers your question there. Anybody else got questions? We got a question here. How many tiers are there before Diamond status? Okay, so there is, I'll go ahead and answer this one live. Diamond status is the third tier, basically. Third tier, fourth tier. So you start out at coach level, then you go to Emerald coach level. The next level is Ruby coach level, and then there's Diamond coach level. After Diamond coach level, they go by Star Diamonds, and Star Diamonds are you only rank advanced to Star Diamonds by people that you sponsored into the business becoming a Diamond. In other words, there's not really any additional rank advancements for more people that you're adding. It's rank advancements for people that you've already added or people that you're adding, rank advancing themselves to Diamond. So I'm a 7-star Diamond. That means I have at least 7 people on my team who have rank advanced themselves to Diamond, if that makes sense. Okay. I actually have 9 people who have rank advanced to Diamond, but there is some, balancing acts that you have to do with where those diamonds are. But I have about 9 people on the team who have advanced to Diamond. So hopefully that makes sense. It's like the 4th tier. You can ask again if I didn't quite answer that. Is Diamond hard to get and to maintain? I'll answer that one live too. Okay, so hard is a relative thing. In order to become a Diamond coach, you need 12 coaches on your team, 12 total coaches, 8 of them yours and 4 of them belonging to each of 2 of your coaches. So to get to Diamond level, you need 4 coaches on each of your legs, and 2 of those coaches, 1 on each leg, needs to be Emerald, which consists of having 2 coaches. So it's a total of 12 people joining your business, which if you consider that we have webinars like this where people can learn all about the opportunity every other Thursday night, if you were to get 5 people to come take a listen to this every other Thursday night, you could probably make Diamond in 6 months just doing that, because one or two of those people at least is going to find this opportunity to be something that is going to fit them, right? So one to two people, say two people every, that's like 4 people a month. So that's only 3 months to get 12 people onto your team. Now, the way that they're stacked and the way that 4 of those people actually have to belong to 2 of your people, maybe it takes a little bit longer than that 3 months. Maybe it's 6 months because you have to get someone that you sign up to invite 5 people to get 2 people, right? But 3 to 6 months is doable. And if you continue the momentum where you just keep getting 5 people to come take a look at the information, it shouldn't be too hard to maintain. That's my take on it. Hard question. That's a really tough question. I mean, everybody's definition of hard is different. But for me, I would say it's not hard. I think we make it hard a lot of times, but I don't consider it hard. But I'm also at a different point where I've been doing it for 5 years too. So maybe that would be a question for Taylor to answer. Is it hard?
Honestly, I think once you really get your feet underneath you, it just kind of all falls into place. You know what I mean? So like you said, hard is a relative term, but thinking now that I'm here, I can look back and say, oh no, it's not that hard. It takes work. It obviously takes work, but like I said, I don't know. It just feels like everything kind of just starts falling into place. So.
I like that. Other questions? Who's got questions? No questions? It looks like we're all good, I think. So just a reminder to all of you, go ahead and get in touch with the person that invited you to this webinar and let them know that you're ready to get started so we can get you on that Saturday night call if you are ready to get started. If not, we're okay with that too. We don't want to, like I said, we don't want to force anybody or try to coerce anybody into being in this business. We just want to share with you what we think is awesome. And obviously, by the way that Taylor and I can't shut up sometimes, we really do love this business, and it's afforded me some opportunities and things that are just beyond awesome that I'm excited to share with you all. So I hope to see you in Team Rhino, our team page soon, and good night, everybody. Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you. Good night.